Frank McAvennie has made a sensational claim this morning that basically one of the players that we sold for 25 million will return to Celtic in January. He's basically said, someone has told me Jota is coming back in January. Would you take Jota back? Even if we manage to get him to cut down his wages, and if he does get paid out his contract in full, would he come back to Celtic when the likes of Ange Postecoglou and Spurs are sniffing about? I think it could be the fact that although, whilst we all love Frank McAvennie, and he does like Celtic and he does support Celtic, unlike some of the media out there, Andy Walker, it would be nice to have Jota back, says Frank. I don't know what you'll be getting with him, but I do think Brendan will need to sit down with the powers that be and tell them that they need to sign some players if they don't get Jota back. We all know what the contract situation is with Jota. He obviously won't play any football until the transfer window opens. But would you take him back? Would you take? Of course you would. We would all take him back. From my own experience, I don't think it will happen. I don't think it will happen. Everything's up and down with Jota just now. But the fact that Frank McAvennie has let it be known that he believes a return to Celtic for Jota is on the cards, says Frank McAvennie. I'm going to be perfectly honest with you. I think that Frank McAvennie's maybe been said, maybe been paid even, to say that by Football Scotland. I know that they have a big budget for this type of thing, and for me, it's just, I think he's probably been said to say that just to get clicks more than anything. Let's talk about Joe Hart, because obviously Joe Hart yesterday was sent off by that crazy attempted kick outside the box. I'm not going to talk about whether it was a sending off or not. He was the last man, but Joe Hart has taken to Instagram. I know that a lot of people on here don't look at Instagram, but Joe Hart has said, "What a team performance at Celtic. Apologies for my red card, but the team, and more importantly, the support showed what they're all about. Top mentality." And I've got to talk about the Celtic support, because the Celtic support at away games are far better. I apologise to everyone that goes to Celtic Park, but when you look at the way that the team does their walk around after games at Celtic Park and how little of the fans are still there, and then when you look at away games and when you see the interaction, it's been like this for years. It's been like this for years. I always go back to the Ronnie Dyla years. Ronnie Dyla and the away fans connection was absolutely fantastic at the time. There was a togetherness with the fans that go to away games on a week-to-week basis, and these fans also spend a lot of money going on Europe. So they were at Europe during the week, and then a lot of them would have been at this away game also. So hats off to them. Talking about that, right? Dyson Maida was one that come up on Instagram and said, "We are family," with a green love heart, and Joe Hart responded 100%. There were some other players that showed their support, and one being Alistair Johnson. Alistair Johnson basically went on and said, look, they laughed off the little apology and said, look, he didn't have to apologise. It was an AstroTurf, right? He kicked the ball out, it got caught. We actually discussed this as defenders, they said, look, it was our fault as much as Joe's. You get a bit caught up sometimes. Joe was put in a position where we knew something like this could happen to us. He said it could have happened to anywhere on the pitch, let's be fair. But it is what it is. Joe Hart is a top player, although he was quick to apologise. Alistair Johnson says, look, we've laughed off the apology and we'll put it down to bad luck, says Alistair Johnson. Tell me what you think in the comments. Tell me what you think about Brendan Rodgers and the Green Brigade, because let's face it, Brendan Rodgers in the video last night that was released, you seen Brendan Rodgers go and get an overzealous, we'll call him overzealous because that's what the media called Hibs fans when they invaded the pitch after winning at Hampden that time. You remember that a few years ago when Hibs won against Rangers and Rangers thought they were going to win the Scottish Cup, but Hibs come up and done it, and they were called overzealous that day. So we'll say that the security guard, look, the guy in the green visor, these stewards should never be attacking, rugby tackling a young supporter like that. They should be going over and grabbing him. But let's face it, you'll get pelters, absolute pelters on the line for time to come. So let's look at some of the comments. Some of them, a total a-hole bringing down a kid like that. I wonder how he would tackle a proper pitch invasion. He'd have brown rain coming out of his jacksie. Basically putting a pill. Chilwell says, big boy Stewart tackles wee boy. Well done, Brendan. Common sense approach, but to be honest, the lad shouldn't be on the pitch. If you go back to the early 1980s, before a lot of the ones that watch this channel, pitch invasions like that were a lot more common and a lot more violent. And if you even look at Scotland fans in the late 70s going down and completely wrecking the English National Stadium. Anyway, let's get to some of the comments. We Forever said, a proper move, Brendan. Best result all season, Brendan, says Martin. Another one, James says, well done, Brendan. A lot of the comments are all the same. Nice one, Brendan. Stewards are bullies. Class act by Rogers, says David. Another David says, the parent of the boy needs to get a grip. It's not allowed. It's not allowed. But let's face it, a lot worse things goes on at football. Legend is another one. The wee man is a legend. Well done, Brendan. Let's talk about the fans and Brendan, because obviously last week there was a video went out showing some of the Green Brigade not clapping Brendan as he done his lap of honour. I will go back to the lap of honour at away games is generally greeted by a lot more fans than it is at Celtic Park when the squad go around and do their appreciation clap. It's not really a lap of honour, it's an appreciation to the fans, and they do this at away games also. Some of the best years for me was obviously under Ronnie Dyler, because the connection that we had with the away fans and Ronnie was absolutely fantastic. The fact that the Green Brigade clapped Brendan Rodgers yesterday, is that a significant step forward in the diplomacy, let's say, the diplomacy between Brendan and the group? Brendan did say at the start of the season, he said, look, I know there's a lot of people who do not want me back here. They do not think I should be back. I say to those people, come back here at the end of May. And come back to the steps at the front of Celtic Park at the end of May, when he comes out and he holds the league trophy amassed. And hopefully he'll be doing a double, and he'll have the Scottish Cup also. A lot of comments. Well done, Brendan. No need for roughness on the wee boy. Well done, Rodgers. The right thing to do. Many players, many managers just let the security do what they want. Well done, Brendan. You just won me over, says Jazz. So there's one comment. You just won me over. So is the tide turning with some of the Celtic fans? Tell me in the comments about yesterday. And Brendan Rodgers, tell me what you think about Frank McAvennie's bold claim that Jota may be returning to Celtic. And let's finish on a high note. You know, the old news at 10 o'clock used to say, and finally. And we'll have a little laugh this morning before the Sefconians play this afternoon. Rangers boss Beale has support of his players as Jack Butland gives a verdict. Jack Butland says, despite the pressure on the boss's job, he says there's a long way to go for this team to develop. He said, hopefully he will not be sacked. On that note, I hope you have had a fantastic day, Celtic fans. Make sure that you tune in for the Sunday Night Live. If you remember last Sunday, we did try to have a little bit of a laugh, and we asked ChatGPT to throw us together a Celtic quiz, and we came to the conclusion that ChatGPT, the only thing that it did know was Rangers went into liquidation and died. So on that note, have a fantastic day, Celtic fans, and I'll see you on the live this evening.
Roll up to the party, roll up to the party, roll up to the party.